So, this is a custom Lego Star Wars ship I made a while ago. It's not based off of any specific vehicle, it's just a basic Imperial cargo ship that I made up. And I figured I finally might as well talk about it. Let's get into the actual vehicle. First up, the front. So, the front has this nice blue tinted windshield, and it looks pretty cool. It is actually at a slight angle, which I think definitely looks a lot better than if it was just straight up. And I used those hinge plates to give it the angle. At the side, there are two blasters, which can technically also move to the side, but they wouldn't really do that. At the top, there are two lights, and the side has some nice detailing, like a little Imperial logo and some blue things around it. I imagine those would be windows of some sort, or just lights. The side is at an angle, so I used some clips to achieve that. The top is not very detailed. Ignore that discoloration. That plate is in the older Lego gray. I'm going to replace it eventually. But yeah, the top is not very detailed. I just slapped on those little random bits around just to make it look a little less plain. And there's a little turret right here which can move around a little bit. There is also a couple little bits of landing gear. At the back, there are the two engines. And the engines look okay. They aren't the best. They definitely are very boxy. I tried to fix that hit by adding those slow pieces, and they help a bit, but not really that much. Right there, there is that disc piece, which I think looks pretty good, and also that blue piece for the thrust. And that is actually a Lego Dimensions piece. At the top, there's a little turret, which you can spin a little bit, but it does kind of lift up the top. And right there is the main door to get in. And looking back at this, that's kind of a stupid placement. I mean, why would you have the main door to the ship be right by the engines? It just doesn't really make too much sense. A way better placement would probably be underneath the ship, somewhere in the middle. And plus, most Star Wars ships that are this scale have the doors on the bottom. So I will eventually fix that, and right here, I will probably put some sort of gunner turret. But now, let's get onto the interior. So to access the interior, it's pretty simple. You just take off the entire roof. So yeah, this is interior. And this ship being a cargo ship, there is of course cargo in the center. And it would probably just have stuff like weapons, armor, thermal detonators, just stuff like that. There are the two stormtroopers. That one is guarding the main door, and that one is just patrolling around the ship. Right here, there is a little power station and a computer. There's another computer and a different computer that a Imperial gunner is using. There's also that printer tile. And you can't actually take off the top of the engines. But I blocked them off with those computers because I couldn't really put anything in there that would make sense. Because if this whole thing was an actual ship, these wouldn't be hollow, they would just have actual components for the engine. So on that one, I just put a little secret. At the front, there is another little computer and that circuit board type thing. There is actually a door right there, which leads to the front. And the door can actually slide open. The front just has the two pilots and the main commander. There's also a little clip right there for the blaster. And the door is very simple. It just slides on those things. But, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. And that is essentially it. But, I mean, what do you think? I think this thing is pretty cool. It is my biggest custom ship. And, I mean, this thing is definitely a little chunky, and it does have a couple flaws. But I still like it. Anyway, that is essentially it. So, bye, I guess.